everyone, my name's Danielle and welcome to Board Game Bakes. This week we're going to focus on Cartographers, which is a fun flip and write game where you have a player board and based on what cards are drawn, you draw different Tetris-like shapes on your board. So they say, what can we recreate from that? We're going to recreate the entire player board. So we're going to make a huge cookie that will decorate to look like the board. So you can literally use an edible marker to play on the cookie, which of course you know we did. That's on Friday. But for now, let's learn how to make that humongous cookie. Here we go. Let our quest begin. This cookie may look intimidating with the details, but at its base, it's just designed to be easy to replicate and try yourself. We'll start with a basic sugar cookie recipe. Blend 2 sticks of softened unsalted butter and 1 cup of granulated sugar in your mixer until light and fluffy. While that is mixing, add 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder and 1/4 teaspoon of salt to 3 cups of flour and give it a mix. Ooh, creamy. Add 1 egg, mix to incorporate, and then add 1 tablespoon of milk. Once that's blended, you can slowly add in your dry ingredients until it starts to pull away from the edges. Pour the dough at that point onto the counter and knead in any of the crumbs that are remaining. Divide your dough in half and flat into discs, which will make it easier to roll out later. Wrap it in plastic wrap and let it chill in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Once your dough is chilled, roll it out to 1/4 inch thickness. If you have the Cartographers game, then you're set with your stencil. Trace a board from the game. I was able to get 6 huge cookies, definitely not a single serving, from the dough. Bake it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit for about 6 to 9 minutes. Make sure that the center part of the cookie is set, so the outside may get a little more brown than usual. Let the cookie cool completely before decorating. Time to make our icing. Add 4 cups of powdered sugar, 3 tablespoons of meringue powder, and 9 tablespoons of water to your mixer with the whisk attachment. This makes a full batch, which isn't needed for this recipe. You can either divide in half, or you could put the leftovers in Tupperware and cover it with a wet paper towel, which you keep in your fridge for about a week. Mix for about 2 minutes until it looks shiny white and has stiff peaks. While it's mixing, you can prepare 1 piping bag and 1 bottle. If you haven't checked out these bottles, it's an amazing tool that makes flooding so much easier. Take about 1.5 cups of icing and put in a smaller bowl. Add a drop or 2 of brown gel coloring and about 1/2 teaspoon of water to loosen into a flooding consistency. You can add a little bit more water till you get the right consistency, which is if you do a squiggle, the squiggle that you draw should disappear in about 5 to 10 seconds. Pour your thin icing into the decorating bottle. This will be for the board. Now take 1/2 cup of icing and add a good amount of brown until you get a nice dark brown color. Put this in a piping bag and you're good to go. You think they should subscribe to Board Game Bakes too? To decorate the cookies, use your dark brown thick icing to put a frame around the outside. If you want, you can add little nooks that make it look like there's tears in the paper. Once you've outlined all your cookies, it should be dry enough, but touch it and make sure it's not too wet. You can grab your light brown filling consistency icing and fill it all in. I recommend doing sections since it's such a big cookie. Let the cookie sit until it's completely dry, which is probably at least 2 hours, or I let mine set overnight to be safe. Now onto the most important part, the grid. Cut out the grid from a real piece of cartographer's paper and place it slightly higher than centered. Use an edible marker to put dots on all the places where the line meets the edge. Go around the entire board. Then use a ruler to connect the dots and make your grid. Then do the same thing for all your other cookies, just like the rest of these instructions. Now you technically have all that you need to play the game. So if you want more of a challenge, you could keep going, but you gotta honestly just stop here. To get more details, you can start by drawing a compass with an orange edible marker and the lines that go underneath the cartographer and title labels. Next, use a yellow marker to draw in the rectangle where they have all the money markers on the track. Once that's colored in, use a black edible marker to add the location for your cartographer name and the place for your title and the family crest. Then move to the bottom and add in the rounded, rectangles where you have your scoring markers, and go through and add little coin details on your coin tracker so that you'd be able to cross off during the game. Finally, draw in the mountain icons with brown and the runes with orange, and you're all set to play your game. Huzzah! Thanks for watching another episode of Board Game Bakes. Now it's time for the best part. Here's our cookie. This one may have been sitting around for a little bit when I'm filming this, so I had a little casualty. So I guess we might as well bake there. I think my bite was a little too big. But you can see the actual size. It's like close to the size of my face. It's a really big cookie. Definitely not one serving. I was able to mail to people at Thunderworks Games and it actually survived, so that was exciting. I've only got to play it a few times, but it caught my attention during the pandemic because so many people are playing it over Zoom because it's a good way to connect with your family and play anywhere, because all you need to do is be able to see the cards that are flipped over. While playing, it's really cool that there's different cards you could have for the different seasons, because it really changes how you play the game and what you focus on. I also learned the hard way that monsters can have a big impact on your score, because that could be like -12 or a huge amount of negative points that you're trying to balance with all your other cards. So I think I definitely need to get a little better at this game. But regardless, it's a great time. And I actually got to play the game over Zoom with Scott, who works at Thunderworks Games. That'll be the video Friday at 12 p.m. EST, so make sure you check it out, and he has some insight and sneak peeks at new products that are coming out as well. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know if there's any games you'd like me to feature down below. And while you're down there, hit subscribe for new videos every Tuesday at 12 p.m. EST. Keep playing games and keep them sweet. Bye!